Hey, what's up, Coach? I'm Coach Besaw. Welcome to the Spread Offense YouTube channel. Today's video, I'm going to talk to you about blocking outside zone using the numbering system. If you haven't checked out my videos yet on blocking inside zone read against a bunch of different fronts, go check those out. I'll leave a card right here at the top. You can click on that. Go watch some of those videos. You don't have to watch them all, but in those videos, I talk about the numbering system that I like to use for blocking inside zone read against an even, odd, 3-3 stack, okie, bunch of different fronts. So go check that out. I'm going to take that same numbering system, apply it in this video today, breaking down outside zone, how I like to block it, and how you can simplify it for your offense. Before I get to the video, though, if you haven't been here before, welcome. Thank you for joining me on my channel. This channel is completely dedicated to the spread offense. I do my best to cover the spread and pretty much anything and everything related to the offense. So if that's something that you're interested in and you want to see more videos, then make sure you hit subscribe below. You can also tap the bell right next to it. That way you can get notified next time I come out with a video on the channel. All right, guys, let's get right to it. We're going to jump right in and take a look at outside zone using the numbering system. All right, Coach, so I want to make this a quick video for you, just really get right to it as far as the numbering system, how you can block outside zone. You can see where I'm just going to go at a basic 2x2. This is not going to be with a tight end. However, you can definitely obviously run outside zone and still use the numbering system with a tight end. And also we're going to look at an even front, over front here from the defense. So if you want to see something different, if you are interested in an odd front, 3-3 stack, tight end, sniffer, whatever it may be, just leave me a comment below. And I'll do my best to make a video for you guys on using the numbering system, blocking outside zone with those looks. But for today, we're going to look at this over front, and we are going to be working out of this 2x2 set here. Okay, so using the numbering system for me, when I'm going, I always like to break it down by kind of play side and back side. So first thing for me, we're going to work on the front side being to the right here. So I like to draw a line down the center. This is what I call the center line. That way I kind of compartmentalize the front side and the back side responsibilities. And then when it comes to the numbering system, I always start with the center. So the center is always going to start our count, and he's going to be the 0 in the count. Okay, so the center is 0, and then we're going to count it out from there. So if the center is 0, then that means our right guard, since he's on the front side of this, our right guard is going to be 1, and then our tackle is going to be 2. Okay, so we've got our guard 1 and our tackle 2 there. Now on the back side, it's going to be the same thing. Obviously, we got guys blocking on the back side of this. And we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to give our left guard, he's going to be -1 since he's on the back side of this. And then our left tackle is going to be -2. Okay, so we've got our offensive alignment set up. We know the count for us and who is working to the front side of this and who's on the back side. Okay. Now, when it comes to counting out the defense here, first thing that we look at, just like we would do if we were running inside zone, is we want to identify the first immediate threat to this A gap right here. Okay. And with this over front, they've got a 3 technique, so he's outside shade of the guard. And then, you know, a lot of times I see the backer as far as where he's aligned, he's usually in the B gap. Not very often do I see him aligned in the A gap. So we're going to put him in the B gap. So that puts this defensive tackle who's a 3 technique. Even though he's outside shade of our guard, he is still the first immediate threat to that A gap. So we're going to give him the 0. So we're going to make him the 0 in the count. And then we're going to count it out from there. So the next immediate threat to the B gap is the linebacker. And then the next immediate threat from there is the last guy in the box, and he is our defensive end. So he's going to be the 2 in the count. Okay. We're going to do the same thing to the backside here. So our nose on the backside is going to be a -1. First defender, who is an immediate threat to the backside A gap. And then we're going to look at that linebacker there. He's going to be a -2 for us. And then that defensive end outside shade of the tackle is going to be a -3. Okay. So there's the numbering system. That's how I like to use it. If you watch the video on inside zone read, blocking against an even front, this part right here is the exact same. Although I think maybe in that video I went front side to the left here. Either way though, it's going to be the exact same. And the reason being because for me, my philosophy, what I like to teach is that inside zone and outside zone, who we are blocking for stays the same. How we are blocking them though is different. Obviously, the technique is different from inside zone to outside zone, but at least if we know who we're blocking in inside zone, then we should be able to run outside zone without any confusion, because the numbering system really clears that up, and who we are blocking stays the same. It's just how we are getting there that is going to be different. Okay, and I'll just quickly break that down right now. But that's how I like to use the numbering system here. You also may see this. I think some coaches may see this and think right away, oh, it's just, everyone's going to be man blocking, working for whoever they have in the count. So you'd think tackle is 2, so he's taking 2. Two for 2 there, 1-on-1 there, and 0-on-0 there. Well, that's not really the case, because again, this is zone blocking, right? So at the end of the day, we still have to pick up whoever enters our gap, and we still have to take our zone steps to the front side of this and be responsible for who enters our gap. What the numbering system does, though, it really clears up the communication pre-snap, though, and helps the linemen identify who they might possibly have and where the combinations are going to be taking place. Okay, so with this here, against this odd front, our tackle is going to be base blocking by himself. He's going to be alone, and he is going to be responsible. He is 2 in the count. He is going to be responsible for the defensive end, who is also 2 in the count. Okay, so with outside zone, what we want is our tackle to get his helmet on the front side armpit of this defensive end. So we want to get his helmet across his body onto the front side armpit. We want his left knee to drive through the middle of the defender. We want to drive that backside knee through the crotch of this defender. And the same thing with his hand. We want to take that backside hand and drive it through the middle of that defender, right down the middle of his sternum, kind of in the middle of the numbers there. Okay, we'd like to reach him. If we can reach him, that's great. We don't have to reach him. This play is not designed to absolutely mandatory get outside. Our running back is going to make these blocks here on the front side correct based on the cut that he makes, and we'll get to that in just a second. Okay, defensive tackle here in the 3 technique, our guard and center are going to be working this combination here. So if we split this down the middle like I just did, the front side here, we've got 1-on-1 here. We've got 2 guys left over, center and right guard, and we've got 2 defenders left over. So you can see where the combination is going to be taking place. Okay, and it absolutely doesn't mean that our guard is going to climb automatically to the linebacker because they're both ones. If this linebacker happens to spike inside and take the A-gap post-snap, then that means our center is going to be coming off of him in the combination. Okay, but we at least know where the combination is and who is working for who. So our guard is going to have the same technique as our tackle here. He's going to take his helmet, front side armpit of the defensive tackle, backside knee through his crotch, and we're going to try to reach him, but we don't have to. So we're going to get that. We're going to try to get on his front side there, backside knee through the crotch, backside hand through the middle of his sternum, and we're going to have our center do the same thing. Our center is responsible right now for that defensive tackle as well. Priority is defense alignment, right? Those guys are the ones that are going to make the play first before any second level defenders that are playing from depth. So our center is trying to get on track with this defensive tackle by taking his backside knee through the crotch. If he can take it over, he will, and he's got to know that by his 3rd step. So if he can take this over, meaning he's able to get his backside knee through the crotch, and we're getting him reached, then he will, and then that means our guard's going to be working for the next level. Okay, on his 3rd step, if he can't take this over because he's not allowing the guard to reach him, and he's going to expand the line of scrimmage, then on the 3rd step, the center's got to know that, okay, I can't take it over, then I got to start working for the 2nd level, and then it's going to be the center trying to get to that 2nd level linebacker right there. Okay, so at the initial point of attack, though, we do want to work this combination. The center is working his track to get the backside knee through the crotch, and he's got a 3-step decision. Okay, can I take it over? At least if I can't take it over, I got to bounce him and knock him over before I start climbing to the next level. Same thing on the backside here. You may even see teams cut the nose, which is great too, because this play is not going to be designed to cut back at all. So cutting the nose, he should be on the ground if you can cut him, and he shouldn't be an issue there. If you don't cut, then you're going to, same technique here, backside knee through the crotch. Okay, and then also the -1 in the count, he's responsible for the -1. Now this combination is going to be obviously pretty hard with the nose shaded inside of this guard. Most likely we're not going to get to that combination with the backside tackle. But again, he's going to work on those tracks. If he can't take it over, then he should be working for that second level and getting to that linebacker on the backside. Okay, so we have one guy that we're not blocking, obviously, because they've got 6 guys. We have 5 guys in the box to block. And so our quarterback is going to be responsible for this defensive end. Now, in pistol, he's going to be responsible for him because he's going to be booting out after the handoff here at the mesh point. And that should hold off out, on that defender there. If we're going to go sidecar offset, either way, obviously now we're crossing the face of the quarterback. The mesh point is happening in front, and now the quarterback can read this defender, and it becomes basically your zone read scheme. If he's going to chase down the line for the running back, then we can keep and run. If he's going to squat, do anything else, really kind of sit in position, then we're going to give it to the back. Most of the time, it's probably given to the back just because really I don't know any high school defensive ends that are going to come across the line of scrimmage and then really run hard down the line to chase that running back and make it clear enough on outside zone for the quarterback to keep it for himself. So most of the time, if you're going to do this, it's going to be a give, but at least you're still able to hold off this defensive end with the potential to be able to keep and run for the quarterback. That also kind of leads into more getting into some things that you can do off this here. If you do get a defensive end, you can certainly keep it the read scheme, but you can also run some nakeds out of this and get some good play action, kind of naked boot stuff out of this outside zone look here. Okay, but that's how we're blocking it up front. Again, the numbering system doesn't mean man blocking, but it does allow your guys to know exactly kind of where they're working towards and where the combinations are coming from. And again, at the end of the day, these defenders are going to move. Okay, so your guys got to know that they're still going to be responsible for whoever's coming into their gap. So if this defensive tackle expands the line of scrimmage and he's not letting that guard reach him, our guard's still going to stay on that track. And if this linebacker, comes and spikes inside to the A gap, well, then that means that's our center. Okay, and he's got to be responsible for him because now our center's got A gap responsibility. He becomes an A gap player, and we got to be able to pick that up. Okay, if we jump back to pistol here, our path for our running back in pistol. Let me move this defensive tackle back. But our back's aiming point in pistol is going to be the ass crack of the tight end, the ghost tight end here. We're in 2x2. We don't have a tight end. If we were to put a tight end in line here, then his aiming point is going to be the butt crack right here of the tight end. Since he's not in line, he's split out. Aiming point still stays the same. So butt crack of the ghost tight end. To be able to set his track, he's going to drop step his left foot, his backside foot, and his first step is going to be with his right foot. Okay. So he's going to drop step his left. He's going to set his track with his right foot for the butt crack of that tight end. And he is going to be making his decision on what to do with once he gets the football by his third step. So really that should be kind of the ending of the mesh point between the quarterback. It should be right there as these two guys are meshing together. His decision should be made. And what he is reading is he's reading in this situation here, he's going to be reading the end man on the line of scrimmage. That's going to be his first read. Okay, so if we just start with this guy here, the simple way that I teach it to our guys is that if he's going to be out, meaning he's not getting reached as we are trying to reach him, if he's going to be out, then that should tell our running back that he's in. Okay, we're not going to try to force this thing outside if this defensive end is not allowing our tackle to reach him. Doesn't make sense. We're just running right to the defender. So if this defensive end is out, then that tells our running back you've got to be in. Okay, if he's in, meaning we are able to reach him, okay, and we're able to get to his front side, and he's more in now, okay, then that tells us that we're going to be out. Then this thing will bounce outside, and it shouldn't really bounce. It should stay right on our track as we get to the outside. Okay, so let's stick with this defensive end being out though. So if he's out, that tells our running back to be in. Okay, decisions made on his third step. His next read is going to come to this defensive tackle here. So he's reading first is going to be the end man on the line of scrimmage. Second is going to be the next down lineman to the front side, and that's going to be the 3 tech. Okay, if we've got this guy reached, so our guard's able to reach him, our center's able to take it over, and our guard's going to climb to the front side linebacker, then our running back is going to make that cut right underneath this defensive end who's not getting reached in this 3 tech right here. So decision is going to be made on his third step. He's going to cut, though, on his 5th step. So it's going to bring him back to his right foot. So even though he's right here, decision's on his 3rd. He's still working down on his 5th step, though. He's going to plant that right foot in the ground, and he's going to cut it up right there. And that's kind of where you can see that big open gap for the running back there. Okay. So going back to that, very simple. If he's out, we're in. Okay. If he's in, then we're cutting it up. We've reached him. We're puncturing the defense right now. Okay. If these guys are really good and they're really gap integrity, they're not going to allow the defense to reach them, and he's going to continue expanding the line as well. Well, now you can kind of see how these gaps are moving now. And the cut almost happens in the same spot, but now instead of just cutting underneath the defensive end, we're going to be cutting underneath that defensive tackle right there. Okay, because again, that defensive tackle is not allowing us to reach him. If he's out, then we're in and we're cutting it up underneath that defensive tackle right there. Okay, so that's if he's not going to get reached. He's really working hard down the line of scrimmage, trying to keep that outside shoulder free, not letting that guard get onto his front side and expanding that line of scrimmage. Okay, so first read, primary read is the defensive end here. If he's out, we're in. Okay, then we get our eyes on the defensive tackle here. If we've got him reached, then we puncture. If he is expanding the line of scrimmage, then we're cutting it up underneath him as well. Okay, very simple. This play will never go to the backside. One, because we're cutting this nose, or you're going to be working on those combinations, but it's not meant to be cut back because it's a one cut deal. So your running back's going to make his decision on his 3rd step. He's either going to stay on his track and continue to work outside because we've got that guy reached, okay, or he's got one cut to make and it's cutting up, and it just depends on kind of where this gap opens up based on what happens inside with this 3 technique, or possibly even a nose if you're facing an under front. Okay, so that's what it looks like in pistol. Again, your quarterback on the mesh point here, he's going to be booting out, being responsible for him. If we were to do this out of sidecar offset, we like to do it I like to doing it off of offset. So we're about 6.5 yards back. Our quarterback's toes are always at 5 yards. We straddle the outside leg of the guard, and he's really going to kind of do the same thing to set his path. It's our quarterback that is responsible for getting the heck out of the way so he can get his aiming point for the ghost tight end here. So he's still going to take that drop step with his left, and then he's going to work that track to hit the ash crack of the ghost tight end. Our quarterback now is going to be stepping. He's going to step in the bucket a little bit, but we want him to set the path for the running back so he can run down the toes for that ghost tight end right there. Coach, there you have it. That's blocking outside zone using the numbering system. I hope it makes sense to you, and it really breaks it down on a simplistic level for you, kind of showing you the similarities of inside zone, outside zone. Who we are working for stays the same. It's just the how we are getting there is different. The technique is obviously different between the 2 schemes, but I hope it broke it down, simplified it for you so that you can make it simple for your players, because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So if it makes sense to you and you're able to coach it and make it make sense to your kids, then that was at least my hope in making this video. So if that's the case, please give the video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. Go ahead and like the video. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Support the channel. Support me trying to reach as many coaches as possible wanting to learn more about the spread offense. Thanks, guys, for joining me today. Look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Take care.